Hey everyone, Alex Lewis here. I just wanted to talk to you about a freelancing tactic that's just been on my mind a lot lately. So, I think a lot of freelancers, when they're getting started, they think to themselves, oh, I'm in this industry that is global. Like, there are clients all over the world that I can work for. I can start anywhere, I can work for people in cities across the globe. And I think it kind of helps people get away from a certain advantage that they have, which is starting local. So when you are a local freelancer, you are more likely to be hired by local companies because they see it as some kind of small advantage of like being able to have meetings with you or at least just like have you in town. And I think people trust people who like drive the same highways as them, go to the same restaurants as them. I think it's just kind of a natural thing to want to hire people who are in your same city. It just feels more local, feels more natural, feels more trustworthy. And so I've found that in my career, I have found most of my freelance clients right here in Austin, Texas. And I don't think that's a coincidence. It's not something I've particularly tried to do, but it's something that has happened fairly naturally. And I think more freelancers should think of that as a strategy. Like, what can I do to find companies that are within 20 miles from where I live? Because when you're trying to compete with a company that's 500 miles away, it's like, what advantage do you have over all the other people who live 500 or more miles away from that city? It's like you have to do a lot more to stand out. Whereas when you're getting started with companies in your city, if you're competing against someone who is 500 miles away and you're 2 miles away from this company, I think that it just gives you a unique advantage. The company, all things equal, might choose to work with you just because you're just down the road and they can meet with you and they just like that you happen to be nearby. And so I think not enough freelancers take advantage of that. And I think it's a unique advantage that you can have in your business. So, how do you find clients who are in your city? So, this is another thing that I think a lot of freelancers can take advantage of is you can target your marketing for the city you live in. So, in my case, like I have made landing pages and written blog posts that are basically they're centered around how do I find clients in Austin, Texas. So, like playing an SEO game, I can try to rank for keywords that people living in Austin, Texas might try to search when they're trying to hire a copywriter or a content writer. So, copywriter in Austin or content writer in Austin, tech copywriter in Texas. Like all of these kind of keywords, I've tried to rank for these, and it's gotten me some clients over the years. And then other things are you can join local groups. And so I've joined in the past like local entrepreneurship groups, Facebook groups, where it's just like hundreds or sometimes thousands of people who own other small businesses in my same city, and they're looking for local contractors. They want to work with local copywriters, want to work with local video editors, whatever it is. And so they'll post in these groups looking for the people who offer these services. And because it's a local group, your competition is much, much lower because even if it's a group of 10,000 people, there's probably only a handful of people in that group who are copywriters who are local. And so it really just eliminates some of the competition and allows you to more easily compete on these projects. Another tactic you can use is going to local events. So I think this is a very underutilized tactic for finding clients as a freelancer because I like to think of freelancing as it's a productivity machine. Like every freelancer, it's like, yes, you're adding certain value to the business by being a video editor, but I feel like kind of at the core, freelancers are just productivity machines. And so when you show up to local events where you're surrounded by entrepreneurs, managers, people who have a lot of responsibility, probably have a lot of big dreams of things they want to accomplish, often they have more ideas than they have time to execute on those ideas. And so when you show up and you meet someone and you're like, hey, I'm a copywriter, and they just so happen to be like, oh, I need new white papers, I need new blog posts, I need to write these ads, and I don't have enough time in the day to do all this stuff, all you have to do is show up to these events, meet a few people, and in my experience, basically everyone has projects they don't have time to do. And when people meet a freelancer and they just kind of build some rapport, hear that you have some experience doing it, doing whatever services they need, it's like people are very likely to just hire you on the spot or at least hand you a card and say, hey, follow up with me. I've got like 5 projects I need help with. I've seen this a lot, and I don't even network that often, but when I do network, I almost always leave whatever event I'm at with some somebody's business card, some amount of leads. So that's been really helpful for me. A few tactics for effective networking are, one, I try to go to events where it's pay to play. Like, I don't try to go to free events, because I find that free events are, the people who show up at them typically are kind of showing that they aren't willing to invest money in themselves. And that's not always true, but I feel like when you go to a paid event, you're kind of showing that everyone who's there is ready to spend money to improve their current position. And so if you're going as a freelancer to one of these events, the people who are there have already said that they're willing to spend money to get what they're looking for. And so you're more likely to find people willing to pay for freelance services. The other tip that I would give for networking is go with the intention of collecting business cards instead of receiving them. So I do this, I've done this since the beginning, and it kind of started by mistake just because I didn't have business cards when I first started networking. And so my whole plan had to be, I need to collect business cards because I don't have anything to give people. And so what I did is I would collect business cards, and then the power is in my hands to follow up with people afterwards. Because when I hand out a business card, that person might throw it away 10 seconds later. They might just like leave it on their desk and never respond. They might totally forget who I am the next day. And you basically can just kind of like go from thinking you have a strong lead to having nothing. Whereas if you collect the business cards, it's then your responsibility and in your power to go the very next day after the event, email everybody and say, hey, great meeting you. By the way, if you ever need a copywriter, I'm your person. And I found that to work very well. It's helped me get gigs over the years, and I don't even do that much networking, but the little bit that I've done, I've found that strategy to be highly effective. So there are a lot of other things like this, like as you start to get more connected in your neighborhood or in your city, as you start to meet more people who are kind of the connectors in your area, it's like your local reputation can spread very quickly, and you can basically just become the number one recommended copywriter in your area. And I feel like that's a very effective strategy. If you just become within your city, just like, oh, who does copywriting? Oh, it's Alex. And like everyone just thinks of you as the local copywriter. That's really powerful, because then you just have this local referral engine where everyone just thinks of you when they want to refer a copywriter. So there's a lot of these kind of tactics, and I don't need to go into any more. If you have any questions or want to learn more about this, please just leave them down in the comments below. I would be happy to expound on this topic a lot more. I feel like focusing local is something that I think is very underrated for people who make a living on the web like I do, because it does just kind of feel like the world is your oyster. You can work with anybody, anywhere. And I've done that. I've worked with people from countries all over the world, states all over the US, and those are fun. It's fun to meet people from different places and kind of hear about how things are different. But I found that really you do have a unique advantage, and not enough copywriters, or at least not enough freelancers, talk about that unique advantage. And so I recommend that especially if you're just starting out, try doubling down just in your local city to see if you can find clients. So hope this is helpful. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this. This is a brand new channel, so still trying to grow it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.